Hi, creative art students. I'm going to go over this next art project with you all, and we're going to be working with the element of art called space. When I say space, I don't mean outer space. I mean spaces in negative and positive space in your artwork. So let's take a look at the slideshow real quick. Positive space. Positive space refers to the area where the subject is positioned, or basically just your subject, whatever it is. Negative space is the area surrounding the subject. In other words, positive space is the main focus area, negative space is the background. So if you can see in these examples with the black swan poster, the white background actually becomes part of the image, part of the face. And they're kind of just playing around with the idea of positive and negative space in both that and the key. As you can see, the key has a cityscape that turns into the key as well. Space, both positive and negative, ties your design together. The intelligent usage of space draws the eye away from focus on negative or positive and instead uses both to tell a harmonious, coherent, complete, seamless story. So here's some examples. You can reverse your use of negative space and positive space, basically meaning if generally you're used to drawing something and that is your subject matter. But what if you drew it or outlined it and then did your artwork on the outside of it? If you can see, this is somebody's name. Obviously, they just kind of did an outline and then they did all the patterning behind it. Same thing goes with this repetition of these animals, just the basic outline, and then they use a bunch of line designs to fill in the back. Again, here's a silhouette. For this type of artwork, it looks like they had done chalk maybe and did some kind of crazy design all over the whole piece. And then maybe they cut out a stencil. I'm not sure how they went about this. Maybe a stencil of this person and then painted on the outside of the stencil to get that effect. Good examples of using space in art generally demonstrates good contrast, meaning the difference between light and dark. I thought this was kind of a neat example because like half of it is just plain white, but it's really cool because they play around with texture a lot in that artwork. What also makes this artwork interesting is not only how space is used, but also how the roadmap relates to the subject, writing. Good artwork often has some type of meaning. Here's a few other examples for you guys to look at. So again, if we're looking at contrast, the difference, very stark dark and very stark light. Doesn't have to be black and white. It can be color that's dark and light. For example, in this first one with the this guy painting the yellow spotlight on him, bright yellow, dark blue. Here we go. Somebody used a record. It looks like the moon. And the cutout of this little person looks like he is playing a guitar. So it's music oriented. The theme of this would be music. There's somebody climbing up out of a bottle. And then finally, it looks like a hot air balloon that kind of is transforming into the background. Kind of neat. Here's two more examples. What do you think the artist is trying to say in these artworks? So these ones obviously have a statement. You all know where this logo is and what they're probably trying to get across there. This one might take a little more thought. We're looking at wilderness down here, transforming the city up there. I'm sure somebody could be making a statement on that. Okay, so let's get into your project. You're going to create an original piece of artwork that emphasizes the art element of space. Choose only one or two different materials for this project for good contrast. Example would be like coming in, you can come into the art room, grab a couple magazines, and maybe you just want to use like a Sharpie outline of your image and then fill in the back with magazines or text of some sort. Maybe you want to use paint and newspaper. Think of something in terms of similar to the bicycle art that I showed it again below. I have flat cardboard and old recycled canvases that you can use as your base to glue materials on. Again, if we're looking at this, it's very much like an enlarged image, not the whole bike. It's not there's some detail, but it's not overwhelmingly a drawing project. It's basically more of it's a shape project. It's a contrast project. A good starting point for this, and it might help you creatively if you start to think about what you'd like your artwork to be about. Do you want to work with nature? Do you want to work with a portrait? a favorite object that you have in your house or a hobby. From there, you can think of what items might represent that subject or theme. If you want to work with nature, maybe you're really into sunflowers. So sunflowers are going to be the subject of your artwork. How are you going to demonstrate an interesting use of space from the background and the sunflowers in the foreground? If you think more in terms of silhouettes, kind of like a cutout, I would say, or just an outline, it might help you for this assignment. So I have a link here for more examples. It's basically, I think it's just a Pinterest link. Let's see if it'll work. Or maybe I unlinked it. So here's the link I clicked. It's just a Pinterest link, like I said, to give you some ideas of how to use space in this project. So you're welcome to kind of scroll through and look for ideas. I really like some of these things that are happening in this one that's moving. Something as simple as kind of just transitioning from a flip-flop of color using, tree branches that you've kind of cut up, drawn some lines over, and you flip color as you move out. But like I said, don't steal somebody else's artwork, but you can use them as examples for your idea for yours. And I'm here, now that I'm in the art room, I'm here to help. I'm available. Study hall's first period, 7th period. You could come in at some point in your lunch if you need, and I'm also here 9th period to help you. This is kind of neat. Did you guys notice this dog? That actually there's a cat in there as well. So yours doesn't have to be kind of like a hidden object. It could be more just like using the space in an interesting way, but these will give you some interesting ideas. You can also just use a Google search instead of Pinterest. If you Googled using negative space in artwork, you could see what comes up that way. Again, reach out if you have questions, come see me, come get materials, bring back your perspective drawing so I can hang that up. And I will be talking to you guys soon. This project is going to be longer than a week. I'm going to give you guys some extended time to really kind of come up with your concept and then develop the art. So I'll be in touch with you. Make sure that you come get supplies. Bye.